here in Consulsau with Karin Fu. She's a working artist, a musician, a singer, an entrepreneur. So we want to share your experience. First of all, tell us a little bit of what you're doing right now in terms of your artwork, music.
Okay, I'm doing programs and small events with literature and music. I come usually from literature, and now I'm a singer also. So we do some projects making a fusion of literature and music in a program. Sometimes they're also just programs just with music for, like we call it, Liederabend. I think it's an international word. A song, an evening with songs.
Okay,
songs.
Yes.
But it's a kind of crossover thing. Not only classical, also pop songs. And yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
So you're performing with a regular group, or you use different formats depending on the...
I use different formations to be on stage with several musicians, sometimes solo, or with a pianist, or with a trio.
Usually, what is the instrumentation that you use?
Usually, most of the evenings, I'm just with a piano player. Yes, and other things. There are some also in a chamber musicians. There are a cello, clarinet, piano, sometimes a trumpet.
And what is the music scene that you're playing in? What are the venues? What are maybe the profile of the audiences?
It's an interested audience who likes to make a bit of a new experience. That's one part, and the other part are people who just are going to a nice event with others to have good songs, perhaps in between the break, something to eat or to drink,
right.
And to have just a good evening.
We were discussing before some aspect of the German audience and experience in terms of formal cultural event. Can you explain a little bit?
Yes, the classical audience in Germany is very sophisticated. Yeah, you go to a concert, you have a nice suit, and you sit in the rows, and you don't talk, and you try not to make any noise. And if there is a Beethoven's whatever sonata in 3 parts, you don't clap in between the parts. Even if there's a small break, you don't clap. You be very serious, and yes. And sometimes musicians from other countries, they come to Germany and they think, oh, what the hell is that here? And if you go to France, last year I had some concerts in France, and people there are just, they're just clapping. They're really they show they like it. And in Germany, but the classical audience doesn't show that it's excited. Yeah.
Very interesting. And can you tell us a little bit of your background? Because you didn't study music formally.
Yes, sure. Yes. After my A-levels or my Abitur, I studied English and Russian literature. And out of that, I started to make some small events to play in drama groups. I started singing, and I had a band. And afterwards, I was working with in bookshops and with libraries. So I came to know that most of booksellers, they don't like to present books in front of a bigger audience. They're quite calm, and I'm also a bit, I like performing. And so I started to make money by presenting books in libraries. Yeah. And then I started to bring the piano, and then I made some programs, and it started to become a bit bigger.
How difficult is, in general, how difficult is living, because there's a premise that it's difficult, living from the arts, specifically the music?
It's very, very hard. You can't say you just are living from the music you're doing. You have to do in most of the case, you have to do something else. Teaching, which is also living on music, I think, or trying to make something new, like mixing up literature and music or something else. And of course you have to do some event, something you don't really like to.
You never like all gigs.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it. You don't like all gigs.
Sometimes it's absolutely
it's just work.
the job of the work.
Yeah,
and then
that's it.
Sometimes it's
So
like
you have to
hobby.
be kind of organized, and you have to do a lot of work around it.
Right.
Yeah, homepage, website. You have to organize that there are people coming to ask you if you want to perform there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that doing other things. You're also doing. You have other income streams differently from music. Can you explain a little bit about that?
We have a small B&B we're living in a small touristic city, very small city.
Can you mention the name of the
It's Langenburg, and we have a big castle there and a royal family.
Okay, that's very particular.
Okay, yeah, very particular. And it's a very nice landscape. So lots of people are coming in summer going on holidays there. There's a big hotel with a spa and all that, and a very old middle-age small village, which is very nice.
And you're using digital platforms to book the.
Yeah. No, we have only. I don't use other platforms. I just have a website.
Your own website.
Yeah, because our village has a quite good website, and people are going to Langenburg, to this art, and then they are looking. Where can I go to have my night?
Okay, great. And you mentioned that you're starting to produce some events at your home also.
Yes, we have a small event called Cultural Kitchen. So there can be up to 20 people coming to our kitchen and coming into our living room, and there we talk. There we have small events to a particular poet, or for example, we did an English evening,
Okay.
or a Russian.
So it's thematic events.
Thematic events and or breakfast.
Great.
Yeah.
And if you were to describe your main challenges in the near future as a working artist and as a self-employed artist, entrepreneur, what would be those challenges?
I think it's not to get lost in between all the big things, the big events, the big names, the big stars, but to be your own small star, and to be good in doing social media,
right?
Facebook and all this stuff. A good website.
To be very present.
Yes, you have to post things. You have to say I'm still here, because everything goes very fast, and you have to find a small place where you can survive.
Exactly. There's those niche markets,
Yeah,
as we
that's
mentioned,
it.
that you can target and be successful and productive in targeting that.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
And that takes us to there's a lot of aspiring artists, entrepreneurs, managers, cultural agents. What could be maybe one or two advices that you can give them if they say, you know what, I'm gonna live from music, I'm gonna live from the arts, I'm gonna create projects? What could be those advices that you can give them?
I think it's very important to do what you like to do and what you're good in. I think this is the main thing.
I agree.
But then to be connected with other people, to get the resource of being together with other artists, with talking to them, not to see only, if he's going to be at this evening, maybe I don't get the money, but to work together.
Right.
I think this is one of the things I will do more even, and
sometimes that's
good.
difficult for artists.
All the artists, I'm the best, or I have to. Yeah, this
ego.
is normal.
There's a phrase that if you can limit your ego, then there's no limits.
Yeah, that's it. Right. But there are several people who are in my area. We're working together quite well, and I think it's a resource. It's not a danger to. You have to do things together. Right. I think this is the for us. The small artists.
It's beautiful. It's passion, living from what you like and enjoy and makes you happy, and collaboration. I think that's great. So have to thank you for your time being
You're
here.
welcome.
This particular town in Germany.
It's a very special town.
Very special town, and then finding you, and it's a great chance for people to share with people, especially in Latin America, which most of the people that we target are in those regions, to share this experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great.